My mission on this podcast is to empower and inspire you in all aspects of life, whether that be from unlocking financial freedom to embracing personal growth. I'm Nikita Burdick, your host, and a licensed lender and attorney, and a dedicated mom to my two amazing sons, Connor and Colton. So join me as we hear from professionals that have reached extraordinary levels of success. And just remember, when in doubt, ask Mama, the mortgage mama. So excited to have Tasha Skipps with us. She has over 17 years of experience in education. She graduated with educational studies from Arizona State University after going to BYU. And she is a proud mother of 8. That's right. I said 8. And she is a true mompreneur, guys. She has a new business that is helping our youth grow in all aspects of life. And it's called Elite Performance Preparatory Academy. And we're going to get into talking about what this school is doing to help our young children. And I'm so excited to have her. So I'm going to turn it over to Tasha. And I'm going to first ask you to kind of explain your journey in education, like where it started and where you're at now.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. So yes, definitely been in education a long time. I actually started with troubled youth. So there's a time where I lived in St. George and I worked with the troubled youth. So we were basically like a juvenile detention center without the handcuffs.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. We had students from all over the place. Everything from gang members to students who have just like drug users, people who've been abused and working through things, all types of learning, behavioral problems. And I fell in love with those girls and I absolutely loved working there. I felt like they were my children. I still keep in touch with many today. And then
I bet those had its challenges on its own too, dealing with.
Yes, totally. It was, it actually working there helped mold me as a mother, to be honest, because
Really?
I realized that kids are so, they don't care about how much you know, till they know how much you care. Mm-hmm. And so my role as a staff there was really to just connect with them. And I learned there how much power there is in mentorship, right? If they just have one person that believes in them and that knows that they can, be something or that they're worthy of something more, it's incredible how much they shift. And so I learned a lot working there. I loved it. So I worked there. And then 2013, I ended up moving back to LA. And that's when I got into higher education. And so I started in admissions first, and I loved that. And then I got recruited by another college to work as a director of student affairs. So that's when I took on student affairs. So,
okay. Yeah. And then you moved out here in Las Vegas in, would you say 2020?
I did. So I moved out here in 2020. So the funny thing is when I was working in higher education, I was like, this is it for me. I'm just going to move up. I loved working in the college, atmosphere.
Right.
But as we moved out here in 2020, so at the time I was pregnant with number 7. And right. So the first thing I did was actually looked up the education out here. And, just looking at rankings and stuff like that. And
gotta love Nevada.
Right. So then I was like, I think I'm going to homeschool you guys for a little bit. Which is what I did. And it's funny because word kind of got around my background, just like slowly but surely, I found out that I was just homeschooling out of my living room. And so long story short, I am homeschooling 14 children out of my living room. Yeah. And it was so fun. We had from kindergartners to seniors, and we had the most fun. And that's really when I started to kind of think about, I was like, this is a lot less stressful than when I was a working mom and sending my children to public school. Yeah. Because I would come home from a long day and then I'm sitting there still doing 4 hours of homework with my 3rd grader. And I was like, for what? So anyway, so I got into homeschooling then, just right out of my home.
Were these children coming to your house or was it virtual?
No, they came to my home and it was like so fun. And it was right smack dab in the middle of COVID. Yeah. So we would do PE outside. We had a basketball hoop. And, at first, especially around the COVID time, I was like, oh, are people going to call the cops that we have so many people at our house? But they loved it. Our neighbors would drive by and just like watch the kids playing outside. It was really fun. And then the next year I was pregnant again with my number 8.
Oh, geez,
and
yep.
and I was just like, I don't think I'm going to do it. I even asked my own children. I said, hey, do you guys want to go back to school? And they were like, no, like we want to stay here. And I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And then I started, getting calls. Are you going to do it again? I was like, I don't think so. I'm kind of tired. And in the meantime, I'm getting emails from different colleges to come interview with them. So I was kind of like trying to decide what path I was going to take. I knew I loved education. I wanted to stay in it, but I wasn't really sure which route I was supposed to take. It didn't feel right for me to go back and work at a college. And so then I get a phone call from a mom who was like, hey, I got your number from so-and-so, and I heard that, you homeschool out at your home. Could you please take my daughter? And I was like, I don't think I'm going to do it this year. And then she just opens up about, just the safety of her child and how just her heart was so heavy sending her child to public school, but her and her husband had to work. And so they didn't feel like they didn't have options. So then I was like, bring her. Okay, bring her.
Oh,
and then I get another call, a single mom, and, same thing, different fears, right? And so I'm like, hey, bring her. And then it just kept happening. I just kept getting calls.
Yeah.
And, I kind of sat back and I'm like, I think this is my niche. Like, I love it. And so that's when the microschooling idea was kind of born. I was doing it without realizing I was running, a business out of my home. But that's when I fell in love with it. The idea of it was 2021.
2021. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you just really want to help children too. I love how this mom calls you and she's like just breaking down about, what is she going to do with her child? And then you're here and you're like, you know what? I got you.
Totally. Because I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be either a working parent of long hours or a single mom, of wanting the best situation for your child, but you feel like you don't have options, right? And that's why we get these phone calls from parents who are like, I would love to homeschool, home educate my child, but I have to work or I have other children or there's some other kind of obligations, whether it's time or money or schedules that they can't make it work. And so it's so great to just be able to say, hey, that's where we come in. We can help. So
yeah,
yes,
that's where you do. And you have 8 children and you're talking about working moms. How do you balance being an entrepreneur, starting this huge, endeavor that we're going to get into and being a mom of 8?
So it's definitely been a juggling act. So from day one, obviously just having children, since they were young, I had always told them, mommy's going to be there at everything mommy can be there for.
Right.
But I made sure at a young age to really have that conversation with them of them pursuing their own things of what they want to do. For example, sports, right? So I'm not the mom that I don't go to all the practices and I make it to as many games as I can. Sorry. But I ask them before they get into sports when they're really young, I say, are you getting into sports because you love it, because you want to do it, because you're passionate about it, or just because, you're only because mommy's going to be in the stands? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to do my absolute best. Mm-hmm. But if it's just because you want me to watch, we'll go outside in the front yard and I will watch you shoot hoops all day when I'm home. So having that conversation with them and letting them know that, find your passion and go after it. And just know that I am cheering you on and everybody's cheering you on when they can. But you have to go after what you love, right? So kind of now taking that talk from when they were in sports a long time ago and now taking that to where I'm at right now, this stage in my life. Before I started to really build this, like, a few months back, I sat down with my children again and I was like, okay, mommy has a goal. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to build this, but I cannot build this without you guys. And so if I'm going to do this, we all need to be all in. And so, it's just more responsibility for the children. We have the 2 babies at home. And so the other 4 who are living there with my children, my 6 biological live with us. So they help raise the babies. Everybody was just like, yeah, mom, we got it. Like, we got you. We'll support you.
Yeah.
And so, having that conversation and creating an agreement between them and me, it really kind of just cleared the air of mom's not neglecting us. Mom's going to go build this because she's building this for us and for our legacy also. So it was really kind of like a team effort. And then now shifting towards, I have a fabulous team. Like my team is incredible. And now I'm shifting to where I can leave and I can go off and I can travel and I can be at my kids' events because I know that they're holding it down. So, you know, at the beginning, it was very much just grinding it out, being in the office till 4 a.m. And sometimes I still have those long nights, you know, but knowing that this is just for a season right now, because the end goal is to make sure that I'm there for the moments that matter with my kids.
You got to take that time to build it. And I really do love this idea of having agreements with your children or any other relations that you have with someone, just really spelling out expectations from both sides.
Yes, definitely. And it's important because if I was to just sit them down, even though I'm the mom, right? I'm the adult. If I was to just sit them down and say, this is what's going to happen and this is what you guys have to do, they are probably already going to be resentful about it because I didn't even give them a chance to choose, right? I didn't even give them a chance to support me or be on board. But if I open up that conversation and I say, hey, this is the goal and this is what I want to do for all of us, now I'm giving them a chance to buy in and they feel a sense of responsibility. Mm-hmm. And that is exactly why, you know, it's, you know, when the ribbon cutting ceremony came, that is why I called my children up to cut the ribbon with me, because it took a group effort, you know, to open this first location. So yes, agreements over expectations any day.
I love that. That's awesome. So I know that I've heard stories from you before, and it is such a powerful story. You started off being an Amazon driver before you opened this big entrepreneur type of school that we're going to get into. What kind of changed for you? What got you going on that path?
So I know it's so funny that my claim to fame, and I love it, I go from Amazon driver to Academy owner, and I love that. But I do want to make a distinction. I think why everybody is so just, you know, excited about this story, right, is because I went from hard labor, right, doing something, just grinding day in and day out. I mean, I was pulling triples, you know, to be able to contribute to providing for my family. But I think that the part in that's so inspiring is I went from doing something that I was just doing, you know, to put food on the table, to where I really tapped into my potential and finding something that I love and that I love to do and that I'm good at. And I have to say the pivotal moment for me is my coaching program. And so, you know, I'm scrolling through Facebook and there was a video on this. There's this program. It's a coaching program from Satemangali. And there was an immersion program called Shield Maiden. Right. So this whole time I've been capable. But what I've learned from going through that program, actually almost an exact year ago, was that there was stories, there was things that I have taken on in my life from either childhood and even through adulthood that I've carried, and that I have created these stories in my mind why I'm not capable, or I'm not worthy, or, you know, just anything that's going to create an obstacle for me, right, that has not given me the power to step outside of doing these little easy tasks, right? And just stepping into this power stance that I'm in now. And so once I went to Shield Maiden, I decided to bury all that. I decided, you know what? I am talented and I am powerful and I'm going to do this. So fast forward from August with Shield Maiden, I was so excited about my newfound confidence, right? I went home and I went right back into my Amazon job because I still had to pay the bills, right? Right. And so it was great. I came off of that, but I still had to now go to Amazon to pay for my coaching. So getting coaching was very pivotal for me because I joined this group called Circle of Champions, as you know, that has just made a world of a difference in every aspect of my life. So then fast forward to October. October is actually when I went to my first Circle of Champions event. And I'm going to share this story. It's so funny. Yes, so please. The very first day I walk in, and here's the thing. I talk to everybody. There's not anybody that I feel like I can't, you know, converse with. So I walk in, very first day, And I see all these people, many of whom which I knew of, but I didn't know yet.
Okay.
And I was so intimidated. I almost walked right back out and just like flew home. Like if this took place in Vegas, I for sure would have just got in my car and went home because I was so intimidated. You know, I felt like that imposter syndrome was so real for me, right? And so it took a lot out of me, which is weird because I've never experienced this before. It took a lot out of me to just stay in the room, to mingle, and just be myself, right? I was like, I'm not educated enough. I'm not a business owner. I don't have as much money as these people in this room. And as I spent, a few days with these people, not only did I learn so much from them, but I felt so much love and support. And so it took everything in me to even verbalize, I think I want to start an academy. Like I was really quiet about it. And they were like, yeah, do it. They were so excited. By the time I left that last day, I stood up and I declared, I said, the next time we meet in April, I said, I'm going to have the keys to my academy. And that's exactly what I did. A few short months later, got the keys. And, now we're in 9 states and 6 in-person cohorts, 2 physical locations, and a team of 5 staff across the country.
That is so awesome and inspiring to hear. And I think a lot of people can relate to that imposter syndrome. We look at other people and we think we're not good enough and we can't do that. But when I didn't know Tasha, October Tasha or pre-October Tasha, but the Tasha I know today is a very strong, powerful, and confident woman. So all of this coaching has done wonders for you. You have done wonders for yourself.
Thank you.
You are just such an inspiring person.
Thank you so much. It is. It's, they say there's power in your circle. And I 100% believe that. When you're around people who lift you up and empower you and sometimes give you tough love when you need it, but just help you feel invincible, you start to become that and you start to take risks and not, you don't fear failing anymore. Right. So I love all my coaches and everybody in the circle. So supportive. I love it. So definitely get yourself a coach. It's worth every penny, but coaching is so important in success, especially in business.
I agree. And there's that famous saying that your net worth is your 5 closest people to you. And net worth is not just money. It's also your self-worth.
Yes.
Like, what do you see in yourself and what are you capable of? And who are your closest people to you? And I'll share one other thing. When I went to a speaking event, I did hear one time, it resonated with me, was that you don't know what you don't know. So
Right.
coaching is amazing because it helps you figure out the things you don't know too.
Totally. And that I feel like I'm the epitome of that because one of my disempowering thoughts was, I know nothing about business. I knew nothing about business when I started. And now I'm a business guru. What I've learned is incredible just the past few months. But I've learned that with networking and also just jumping in it, just doing it.
Shipping it.
Just ship it. Exactly.
Okay, so let's move to talk about your academy.
Okay.
So tell us, what is Elite Performance Preparatory Academy?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're an education company and we offer so many different types of services from academic mentoring, which is coaching, typically for high school and above. And we offer academic tutoring, and this is for kindergarten through college, and that's any and all subjects. Okay. So those are 2 things that we can provide services for any student, regardless of if they're in public, charter, private, doesn't matter. But our biggest thing, our most popular service is our microschooling. And so basically we create tailor-made educational experiences for our families based on the wants and the needs and the goals of the families.
Okay.
And so what we do, for our in-person locations, we have a style which is called microschooling. So they come into our learning center, and our classes will never get over a 1-to-10 ratio. For our younger ones right now, we're actually at a 1-to-4 ratio.
That's
and
awesome.
It's great. The whole reason behind that is, number one, we want more attention, to our students. We want them to be able to absorb the content that they're learning. But also our biggest thing, so we say we build leaders, cultivate entrepreneurs, and empower the next generation. So by keeping the classes very small, every single one of the students have an opportunity to lead every day. So whether they're teaching part of the material or they're standing up and facilitating or delegating something, but we want every single one of our students to take part in being a leader, because it's so important for us to in our overall mission. And so we're very different from traditional school. Our philosophies are very different. We have a strong emphasis in business on entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And so some things that set us apart is number one is character, right? So character building is one of the biggest things that we do and we teach every single day, and also life lessons. So everything, it doesn't matter what topic we're learning for the day, everything is tied back into like a life lesson, right? Because we're focused on building the whole person and not just the student or not just the athlete. And so in that, we also, we're not fans of a lot of homework. We don't like busy work. We don't like standardized tests, although we do assessments throughout the school year just to see where they're at, see where we can, adjust and offer more personalized instruction. But our tests, you walk through our academy on test day, you're going to hear a lot of chatter. It's a lot of conversation. They partner up, and it's a lot of, because it's critical thinking. Right. We want them to be critical thinkers. And so it's a lot of chatter. And, I've heard from some people, well, aren't they just going to all, get the same answers all the time? They don't. And so when they disagree, they get to send a representative to the front of the class and they get to debate. So it's just really cool just to kind of give them different experiences. There's a lot of little details also that go into it. But overall, that's what we do for the parents. When I get an admissions call, the first thing I do is just listen. Tell me about your family. Tell me about your goals. And whatever that looks like. We have some families that want to travel all the time, and we can work with that. We have some families who children, they live part-time here or part-time in Hawaii. And, so they do like a hybrid situation with us. There's some that are full-time in the center, some that just, are full-time virtual. So it's nice because we're helping our parents get their power back.
That's nice. And you said younger. And so what is your younger ages?
So the youngest that we have right now, the youngest student that we have right now is 5.
5, okay.
5 years old. Mm-hmm.
So you're doing basically kindergarten through 12th grade?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And we, the way that our classrooms are situated are not, so we teach to the skill level and not necessarily the grade level. Mm-hmm. So our classrooms, we'll call them orange, blue, green classroom. And it's the K through 2, 3 through 5, 6 through 8. But the reason why we do it that way is because if a student is, behind in a certain topic, say math, for example, well, during the math hour, they'll just be switching to the green classroom or orange, and nobody feels like they have to go down to the lower class, right? Okay. So there's a lot of interchanging. So the great thing is that for those students who maybe are a little behind the peers that are their same age, they don't have to feel dumb. They don't have to feel like, I don't want to raise my hand because everybody else in the class gets it and I don't, right? We want them to be comfortable with where they're at. And then on the flip side, we have some who are super accelerated. And so we don't want them to be stagnant either. So if they're in a class and they're understanding and getting it, hey, you can go ahead and switch over to this class during this hour. So it's great to be able to teach where they're at and not have them feel any stress or pressure about it.
That's awesome. And so are you teaching a full curriculum for someone who wants to just send their kid to your school instead of, say, to private or public?
Yes. So I definitely put my mom hat on when building this thing because I was like, what would I want as a mom? And so I was like, I would want to do nothing. So basically what we do is, so if they send their child to us for full time. Okay. So I do have to say this. So the legalities behind homeschooling. It is against the law to pay somebody to homeschool your child. So essentially, we're offering small tutoring sessions when they come to us. Okay. So these small tutoring sessions, we happen to cover all 4 core subjects and character building. Okay. And we do meditation, and we also do business entrepreneurship. And we also take it a step further. And we document, we grade, and we help parents generate report cards. So all of the things that parents would love from a home education, we help for the parents. So we make it real easy for them. But yeah, we deliver instruction for all those and some.
Got it. That's awesome. So someone looking to do homeschool would use your facility for the training and the lessons and help with those type of things.
Absolutely. We're just a drop off. So in the homeschool community, there's some situations called like co-ops, and typically there you have to rotate. You have to each parent has to teach a day or prepare or pitch in somehow. But our centers are set up to where parents can just drop their children off and then just pick them up, and then
that's awesome.
They most likely don't have homework. We finish all that stuff with them. If they do need additional, it's typically math, or we'll have them reading. But yeah, we try to take care of all that, and then just give parents and families their time back so they can just enjoy family time and don't have to pull each other's hair out for 6 hours of homework at night.
Or trying to get your kids to listen to you, because kids love listening to their parents.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That too.
What about the parent who still wants to send their kid to, say, a public or private school? Are there supplemental type of courses they can take?
Absolutely. We actually get hit up on that all the time. So parents are like, hey, I love, so for example, the business entrepreneurship course that we have. I've got a lot of questions on that. Hey, I love the situation, or their school district's actually really good, but we still want to take this. So we're actually going to roll out some evening classes and some weekend classes that will offer our enrichment courses as well for those who attend maybe different schools during the day, but still want to do some of our enrichment courses.
I'm going to do a small plug here to make you think about rolling out programs.
For sure.
Think about the 3 to 5-year-old.
I know. Well, it's funny you say that.
Because I have a 3-year-old.
Right. I know. So I do too. So actually next year, I wanted to start a preschool class strictly because I have a little one, right? Oh, I have 2 little ones. So that one would be definitely, just discovery, a lot of sensory and stuff like that. But that's definitely, we're on the same wavelength because that's coming for sure.
Yeah, some kind of supplemental class, because they're not in full-time school, but it would be nice for them to go and learn some little leadership skills.
No, for sure. Absolutely. It's coming. We'll bring it.
Okay, so you started this. Was your first location in Las Vegas?
Yes. First actual location was here. And then we have another sports center here in North Las Vegas. So that's for the elite athletes. So those are 6th through 8th graders. So they'll be attending that location. And then Henderson is our K through 8 right now.
Okay, so explain a little about the elite athletes. What kind of sport programs do you offer? What does that look like?
Yes. So out of my 8 children, so my 5 older daughters, they have all been to Junior Olympics, Junior Nationals for volleyball several times.
Awesome.
And then just growing up, I grew up in, athletics. So we're very heavy athletic family. So naturally we wanted a sports academy.
Well, and one of your partners is.
Oh yeah. And one of my partners is Satema, so kind of fits, right?
Yeah.
So there, what they're going to do is they'll come to the academy, and then we split them in 2. So half will go with the trainer and do an hour and a half strength and conditioning. The other half is with me in the classroom. Then they switch. They do 30 minutes lunch, 15-minute meditation, 30-minute mental performance, and then the last 2 hours of the day, they split up again. And then this is where half the group is doing sports-specific drills while the other half's doing their business class, and then switch, and they're done for the day. So they only come 3 days a week, and the first 3 days, they're just getting a lot of just the physical, workouts, training really hard, right? And then the 4th day is rest and recovery. So that's where they're going to do the ice baths, things like that, where it's more just rest and recovery, because these are elite athletes, so they're playing all weekend. So we just got to get their bodies ready. When they come, they're going to be getting, their protein shakes and things like that, supplements, anything that's going to help their body in recovery. But at those locations, everything is tailored to the athlete. So, for example, the science is very anatomy and health and nutrition heavy. The financial entrepreneurship part is very much catered to the athlete, and NIL and scholarship. And these are the things you got to look at and think of. Branding this, as an athlete, understand they're going through your social media way back, right? What are the lyrics you're using? What are the captions that you're using? Although this discussion is going to be across the board, but especially with the young athletes, they need to understand that they are on, they're on a public platform from the minute they wake up, right? So those decisions are important, but that's what the sports academy looks like. The field trips are going to be a lot more tailored to college campus visits, having conversations like that. We also are developing an alumni program. So anybody who graduates or leaves us, so say an 8th grader who decides to go to Bishop Gorman or something like that, they can always come back to us and help them when it's time to apply to colleges, whether it's like their entrance essay or whatever, or PSAT, ACT, prep. We help our students with that as well.
So this is 3rd to 8th grade. And is it all kinds of sports, or is it just specific sports?
All sports.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And is this going to be like, you said a lot of strength training and things like that. So they're not working on specific sports skills. They're working on a lot of different skills, though.
So they actually get both. So they get 2 workouts a day.
Okay.
So the first workout is strength and conditioning. And then the second is sports specific.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what makes someone elite athlete?
So it's typically students who are already playing sports.
Okay.
And it's great because this is, I mean, they're getting think about 16 additional workouts, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, other students could definitely join, but I think right now, like starting off, we're starting with the elite athletes. So just to get them where they need to be, especially because, I mean, there's a few out here. But I think what sets us apart is the business entrepreneurship aspect, right?
Right, yeah.
And just really kind of focusing on, the academic part of that. But yeah, so that location's actually 6th through 8th grade, and we operate out of Forge Performance. So we work alongside Forge Performance. We run academics, and then they run the physical part.
Got it.
Yeah.
And what about kids who are still in school? Is this program something that could be supplemented, or is this a program if you have to be full-time, or how does that work?
So that schedule that I just explained, that is for full-time students, but we are also putting packages together. So the same like the other enrichment courses, we're putting them together for like a small training and tutoring package for students who go to like public charter or private school during the day, and then they can still participate and buy, packages for the evening or weekends.
Okay, got it. So what made you expand to other locations? Like you blew up so quickly.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Yeah.
Honestly, our referrals are out of this world, and we just get inbound calls all the time. We get people reaching out to us, saying, "Can you bring a center? Can you bring a center?" And so, the bigger a cohort grows. So this is what I always say to those people, because they're always like, how do we get a center in our area? So I'm like, it's actually a lot easier than you think. So so our message to Utah, right? And this was the same why we have a academic coach in Florida and Utah. So they started to grow so fast. And I say once we hit about 6 to 7 students in an area, we will go out and hire an in-person academic coach for you.
Okay.
Once they get to about 15, 16 in-person students, we will start looking for centers for you guys to meet at. Okay. So it's really, when you think about it, it's not that many kids. It's And so having these conversations with families and saying, we just need a couple families, and we'll have somebody in your area to give that live person instruction. There's a lot of families who are actually helping us grow it because they love what we do and they want this instruction for their children. Right. And so there's a lot. We're looking at some different cities right now. We're like, where's our next center going to go? We don't know yet. So actually there's a few on the map that we're looking at, but we just expanded because we have the best support from so many people. I'm getting calls that are like, somebody, this person referred me, and I didn't even know that person, and I was like, that's so cool, because they see what we stand for. They go on our Instagram or our Facebook page, and they know what we're trying to do, right? I say, protect, we're here to protect the children. We're here to give the power back to the families and the parents. And we're here to paint possibilities for the children, for them to dream big and visualize, and to go out and get that. And we just are so, we're so grateful that so many people in this country has just passed our names on. So, but that's why we're growing so fast. We haven't even really marketed, and just people are so great.
That's awesome. And you do have a virtual program, so no matter where you are, you can still benefit from this program.
Totally. Yes. We have actually students. So we have students across 9 different states right now.
Okay.
But we only have 3 states that we're in person. So we have students in 6 different states that we work with virtually. And some are growing really quickly. So I would assume that there's going to be some centers over there soon. But we do have virtual. And this is kindergarten through college. So
through college. So you guys are teaching college courses also? Or?
So not teaching college courses. It's more like the mentoring, like coaching. Like the one-on-one, just helping them track and get ahead and, tutoring, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, additional support services.
Of course, yes.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yes.
And so you said you might be opening another location in Florida. Is that one coming soon?
So yes, so we're excited. So Florida is popping off. We love it, Florida. And I think one of the reasons why Florida is growing really fast is because number one, it's the funding that the parents have access to now, but also we have a ranch out there, Wagyu Mama Ranch. So it's ran by the Bakers, Lainey and her husband Brian. So they're our directors of agriculture and homesteading. So it's so cool because we offer in that region, we offer this program where the students actually meet once a week, and they get to learn everything from like livestock, gardening, just water cycle, harvesting, cooking, baking, everything, just getting their hands dirty and learning hard labor,
awesome.
Just out on the ranch, things that I'm super jealous because I'm a city girl and I wish I could go work on the ranch, but these kids are getting these tools that we need. We absolutely need. We want them to move towards, teaching these children about self-reliance, right? How do you grow your own food? And then how do you cook with that food?
Right.
And then even getting into like hunting. We're going to be doing a hunting excursion later this year. So
sounds like you need to get into Texas, do a ranch out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're really excited though. Yeah. Florida's growing for sure.
I think it's awesome you're teaching so many different life skills because I feel like a lot of the career world has changed. When my mom was a child, or even when we were younger, it's go to high school, go to college, get a degree, then get a job. But today, a lot of people don't even need to go to college. You can start a business, just right out of high school. So you need to have some of those skills.
Absolutely. And I feel like that is where, when we get back into talking about like the conveyor belt, public school system, right? There's not a lot of touch on careers or even speaking to the individual child. What do you like to do? Like, what do you see for yourself in the future? It was, go to college, get the highest degree you can so that you can make the most money, when that is not the case. And that's actually something that I learned working with the Circle of Champions. There's a lot of self-made millionaires who barely graduated high school.
Oh, I know it. Yeah.
And so my messaging now as a mother and as an educator and businesswoman is now evolving also as my eyes are being opened. So my messaging to my children, it's find what you love to do and find the fastest, cheapest route. That's it. And most times it doesn't even include college. And that's fine because I feel like college is not for everybody and everybody's not for college, And so what we're doing is we're pulling away from the idea that schooling equates to education, because it does not, right? So just because somebody's decorated or has like this high degree doesn't necessarily mean that they're more qualified or capable of somebody who's self-educated or who took the time to know and learn their craft and is an expert at what they do. And so that's really what, the model of what we set this up is really to just stretch our children's minds into thinking, to visualizing what that looks like. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. I went my entire young life thinking that I wanted to be a lawyer. I was like, I'm going to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
I loved school. I was great at school. That part didn't bother me. And it wasn't until I was a senior. I mean, even looking into the colleges, right? I was like, okay, great. BYU has a great,
great law school.
Exactly. So, then I'm a senior, right? Second semester senior. And I had a project where we had to research our future careers. So I did all this research and I'm looking and I realized then how much time the schooling part didn't bother me, but how much time, right, that they typically have to put in. And I was like, I can't do it. I'm going to have 10 kids because I wanted 10 kids when I was young.
Oh, you got close.
Yeah, I know. I was close. But I was like, at that moment, right, I'm 18 years old and I go my whole young life thinking that I'm going to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
And at that moment, when I finally researched it, I was like, oh, I'm not going to do that because it's not conducive to the lifestyle that I want to have a lot of children. And so imagine if we're able to talk to our children at a young age and find out what's important for them at a young age. They might not know what they want to be, but they're very in tune with the lifestyle that they want. Right. They'll tell you how many kids they want. They'll tell you maybe what kind of car they want to drive, if they want to travel, if they don't mind working a lot, or if they don't want to work much, or if they, so it's really about reverse engineering for these kids. And that is something also that we do at Elite, where we help these children create a list called the non-negotiables. Yeah. So they learn at a young age what's important to them, what they will absolutely not give up, whether it's their Sundays going to church or their date nights, or I want to make it to every kid's game, things like that. And of course, it's going to evolve as they get older, but we mix that with the other experiences that we have, which is shadow days. So we are going out into the community and shadowing a bunch of different careers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like that. Yeah, to give these guys, a taste of what a day in the life of, a real estate agent looks like, or, a banker or an architect. So now they're actually getting a taste of like, oh yeah, I could picture myself here, or maybe not. I don't like that,
I don't like that one. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's also a big part of our philosophy, why we're different. We're not the type of educational company that's like, you have to go to college. No, you can if you want. If that's in your path, then that's in your path, then great, let's get after it. And this is what we got to do. Mm-hmm. You want to be a physical therapist? Great. These are the steps. But you want to be a coach, you want to own your own business? Great, let's go this route. Right. And there's not enough of these tailor-made educational programs, or experiences for these children, where we should be, instead of having the child fit into the educational setting, it should be the other way around. We should make the education fit the child.
I agree. And, I can't say how much I connect with that, because I grew up with a Korean mom where it was lawyers or doctors. Mm-hmm. And, you grow up to please, not grow up to choose, really. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm a lawyer. I have a law degree. I'm not a lawyer anymore. My brother is a lawyer, and my youngest brother went medicine. So we all listened. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you that I'm not a lawyer anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I went to higher education, 8 years of schooling, spent $300,000 in tuition bills, mm-hmm. and I don't practice law. Mm-hmm. Wow. And I make so much more money not practicing law. Yeah. You don't need an education to accomplish things you want to accomplish.
Absolutely. And I love that. And I love that you had the confidence to step out of that and not feel like, oh, well, I did it. I already went through that. I'm already identify as like a lawyer. I'm this, so I have to be stuck with it. Because a lot of people won't jump out of that, right? Yeah. We're so stuck in our ways where we just feel like there's these expectations, right? As a working mom, or that we carry on ourselves. And so I love that you're able to be like, no, what makes me happy is far more important than fulfilling what I feel other people's expectations are. And I love that. That's a great attitude to have.
Yeah, it is difficult because, I was a lawyer making six figures, very comfortable, mm-hmm. but then I became a mom, and it's mm-hmm. like, I don't want to work 80-hour weeks. That's not what I want. I want to still make the same money, but I don't want to work that much.
Right. No, exactly. Yeah. And it's like, I feel like if we have those conversations, with children at a young age, like right. then how much better and more accurate are we going to be at, helping them to decide, which route they're going to go. It's like, have them test drive different things at a young age, or, pull back the curtain and say, you want to be, a pharmacist, but they stand for 8 hours, things like that, yeah. where they don't realize what they're getting into. And I think a lot of that also is allowing them to be who they are, right? I think, and I'm guilty of this, right? Of saying, oh, you're my kid, where education is big in my family. Like, you right. have to hit the straight A's, like you got to do that. And as a mother, right, of several, I've learned that every kid is different. Every child is a different learner. And I've also taken those experiences, and that's helped me develop how we operate at Elite, because, I have a couple that are super quick. They can pick up anything, right? Mm-hmm. Then I have a couple that might not learn the same way. But you teach them about business or something else and they are spot on, right? Diligent. And so they just think differently. And so I think, by giving them different experiences when they're young and also teaching them how to visualize and then reverse engineer, these kids are going to be so much more successful than we were at their age, at a young age.
I definitely think so. Because, when people ask me for advice on law school, I'm like, is your passion law?
Right.
Do you want to practice law or do you want the paycheck?
Right.
Because if you want the paycheck, it's not the best choice.
Right. I completely agree. Yeah. And that's where it's what's important, right? Mm-hmm. What's important. And everybody's list is different. And that's okay. Like when we did this with the children, the same exact thing. It's like, what's important to you? It was like family time, traveling. Somebody was like, I just want to make a lot of money. And I was like, that's okay too. That's all right too. But here's all the options with that. But it's more of like you said, the more you know, the better you can create a plan that will get you to what ultimately will make you happy.
Well, I love everything I'm hearing, and I'm sure other people are going to love everything they're hearing too. So how do people get in contact with you if they do want to send their kids through either your virtual program or they are located in a place where you have a location?
Yes, definitely. So our email is info@eliteacademics.net. And we also have an Instagram and Facebook page. It's at Elite Performance Prep Academy. And our website right now, we're switching domains, but right now it'll get you there. It's eliteacademics.net. Okay. So we're all there, everything that we stand for, how we operate, so it's all there, and it'll probably even be me that answers back for now.
Well, I will also provide this information before it's posted, so anyone who is looking can find it easily and contact you. So one more last question before we end. You mentioned that you love your team. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your team?
Oh my gosh, they're amazing. So it's made up of some certified teachers and some who are not, and they are so hungry to help our youth. They are the most just driven individuals, but really, really good people. I always said my biggest decision that I'm going to have to make in building this are the people that I bring on. And so they completely embody what we stand for. They love so hard. They pour into these children and these families. They're always looking for ways to serve them. I'm, of course, like building this. I'm always up late and stuff. The other night I was in the office shooting emails at midnight and my staff was shooting emails right back. And I'm like, what are you doing? Go to sleep.
Why are you up? Yeah.
Their whole heart and soul is in this thing. And, we couldn't get this thing up and running and, be able to expand it like we are without my staff. So we have Katerina, Saipeki, Jolani, and then Alex, and then we got Breezy, Fanice, and then of course my business partner Satema, as well as our directors, the bakers in Florida. The best team. So anybody who gets to work with any one of my teams you guys are in for a treat.
It sounds like it. Your facility is amazing. And I think it's, I really love how you tailor to children. So it's been such a treat having you on this podcast. And I thank you so much for coming. And that was your episode with More Than Financing with Mortgage Mama.
Thank you.